Myself Rajni Sharma. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the various factors led to the non-cooperation movement in India. And the major factor was the effect of First World War. Then Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915. Then he launched Satyagraha movement in India in various places like Champaran in Bihar, then Kheda in Gujarat, then next Satyagraha launched by him in Ahmedabad in Gujarat. Later on, the Rowlatt Act passed by the British, and after that, Jallianwala Bagh incident. Next, we discussed about the Khilafat Committee formed by Ali brothers. Then, why Khilafat Committee was formed and the various factors, and this gave opportunity to Mahatma Gandhi to launch non-cooperation with Khilafat movement. Non-cooperation movement. The non-cooperation and Khilafat movement began in January 1921. Non-cooperation was launched under Gandhiji's leadership. It aimed at protesting against the injustices done to Punjab and Turkey and to attain Swaraj. Educated middle class led the movement in towns and cities. Educational institutions, law courts, and foreign goods were boycotted. Peasants organized movements against talukdars and zamindars. Landlords in villages under the leadership of Baba Ramchandra. Tribal people started an armed struggle in the Gudem hills of Andhra Pradesh under the leadership of Alluri Sitaram Raju. Workers in the plantation of Assam started a struggle to get the right to free movement. This we discussed in detail later on. Differing strands within the non-cooperation movement. Movement in towns and cities. Educated middle class led the movement in towns and cities. Educational institutions, law courts, and the council elections were boycotted. Foreign clothes and other goods were burnt in bonfires. People began khadi clothes. Government servants resigned their jobs. Liquor shops were picketed. Because of the participation of the middle class in this non-cooperation movement, this affected the economy of the British. The import of foreign cloth halved between 1921 and 22, dropping from rupees 102 crore to rupees 57 crore. Merchants and traders began to refuse to trade in foreign goods or finance foreign trade. But this movement in the cities gradually slowed down for several reasons. Khadi clothes were very costly, and it was not realistic for the poor Indian to afford it. Next, Indian boycotted British institutions like law courts and educational institutions. For the movement to be successful, alternative Indian institutions had to be set up so that They could be used in place of the British ones. These were slow to come up, so students and teachers began to join back the government schools and lawyers joined the government courts. Next, but alternative institution did not come up. Next, movement in the countryside means villages. Peasants movement. In Awadh, peasants were led by Baba Ramchandra. Here, peasants had to do begar. Begar means forced to contribute without any payment and work at landlords' farms without any payment. This made their condition miserable. And they also demanded reduction of rent and the abolition of begar. They formed Awadh Kisan Sabha by October and in which Jawaharlal Nehru and Baba Ramchandra came together. Baba Ramchandra. He led a peasants' movement in Awadh against talukdars and landlords. He demanded reduction of rent, abolition of begar, and the boycott of landlords. In October 1920, he formed Awadh Kisan Sabha with the help of Nehru. Next movement was took place in Gudem hills of Andhra Pradesh. Tribals started a movement under the leadership of Alluri Sitaram Raju. Tribals wanted to get back their traditional rights over forests. The methods followed by the tribals and peasants were against the Gandhian method of non-violence. They followed violent methods of struggle. Alluri Sitaram Raju. He led a movement of the tribal people in the Gudem hills of Andhra Pradesh. Many people considered him as an incarnation of God. They believed that he had many special powers. He supported Gandhiji and asked his followers to wear khadi and stop drinking. But he organized an armed struggle against the British. Next topic, Assam tea planters. Earlier we discussed in our class 9th the forest society in India in which the tribals were forced to work outside the forest area. Forest area was categorized into various categories. Because of that, the tribals were not happy with the British and that's why they agitated against British. And in search of livelihood, they went to plantation fields. But their condition was very miserable. Workers in the plantation of Assam demanded the right to move freely in and out of the estates. They opposed, they means plantation workers. They opposed the Inland Emigration Act of 1857, which took away the right to free movement. And when they heard about the non cooperation movement, they moved to their villages. They thought that the Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone would be given land in their villages. However, they were caught and brought back. Actually, the main problem was there was a contract signed between the plantation workers and the plantation owner. And according to that contract, the plantation workers were not allowed to move freely. And when they heard about the non cooperation movement started by Mahatma Gandhi, then they thought that their problems would definitely eliminated one day, and everyone, whether in the countryside, whether in the towns, whether in on the plantation fields, everyone have a different interpretation with the non-cooperation movement. Because of that, withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement. The movement became violent in some places. In February 1922, in Chori Chora, Uttar Pradesh, people turned violent and set fire to a police station. 22 policemen were killed in this incident. Gandhiji was against violence, and that's why when he heard about this incident, Mahatma Gandhi called off the non cooperation movement. This was the end of the non cooperation movement, and in the next lecture, we will discuss about the various factors for the civil disobedience movement in India. I hope you all watch our previous lecture. If anyone have any doubt related with any topic, then you can WhatsApp me and you can send your query on my WhatsApp number. That's it for today. Thank you.